Why did Rajasthan Royals buy Chris Morris for rupees 16.25 crore? How does the Fremantle doctor affect match performances at Perth? What is the difference in trajectory between a Marco Jansen delivery and an average left-arm seamer? Who has the maximum strike rate in the first 6 deliveries of his innings in T20 cricket? Does Virat Kohli have an acceleration problem against left-arm spin? If these questions were posed 20 years ago, even the most brilliant minds would have struggled. But come 2022, and all the answers are just a few algorithms, mathematical models, and permutations and combinations away. In this video, we will solve the riddle about the role data is playing in modern-day cricket. Hello and welcome. I am News 9 cricket data analyst Nikhil Narayan. A lot has changed between the first IPL auction in Mumbai on 20th of February 2008 and the 12th and 13th of February 2022 in Bengaluru. There was no Lalit Modi, no film stars, overseas players were no longer the most prized possession, and fast bowlers were finally getting the due in a format and model designed for batsmen. There was also one other striking difference: the inclusion of a certain category of people whose presence has grown rapidly on the tables of most of the franchisees over the years. The role of the team analyst cum scout has grown enormously over the last few years, with data and big numbers driving team selection, performance and strategy like never before in the history of the sport. Subramanian Ramakrishnan, popularly known as Ramki, was the first prominent analyst in India who worked with the national team under the tenureship of John Wright in the early 2000s. From basic data and 20 to 25 parameters per delivery, the availability of video footage and ball-by-ball data with the onset of the IPL changed the ecosystem, and now analysts who are hired from the best universities across the world are able to generate 120 to 130 parameters per delivery. It was not until midday on day 2 in Bengaluru that RCB filled a key role by signing Finn Allen and Sherfin Rutherford in the mega auctions. Having spent a large sum of their purse on a top-heavy batting unit comprising Virat Kohli, Faf du Plessis and Glenn Maxwell, the franchise needed enforcers in the lower order at an economical cost as possible. But they were not worried, and with analysts from London-based CricViz on their side, there was a strategy in place, and they went for the unknown New Zealander and the little-known Guyanese to fill a specific role in the death overs. As it turns out, Allen has a batting strike rate of 190.24 in the 6 T20Is he has played for New Zealand and a strike rate of almost 176 overall in T20 cricket, the highest for a minimum of 500 runs from a major cricket-playing nation in the format's history. As for Rutherford, he had a scoring rate of 212, which was amongst the top 5 at the death overs in the 2021 CPL. It was only because of data mining and the presence of a well-established scouting network that RCB were able to plug in the crucial role of a finisher with 2 lesser-known players at a total cost of just INR 1.8 crore. Meanwhile, Punjab Kings gave their best performance on or off the field ever in the IPL and had the most balanced unit at the end of the auctions. How did they manage? Was it intuition? Was it just luck? No, they went into the auction well prepared with a strategy, and after several rounds of mock auctions and covered all their bases brilliantly. Led by their head coach Anil Kumble, they were well served by Shankar Rajgopal, R&D consultant at Punjab Kings and head of broadcast analytics at Star Sports. If not for data crunching, they would not have hired the Bordeaux-born uncapped all-rounder from England, Benny Howell, who boasts of having 50 different varieties of deliveries and impressed for Birmingham Phoenix in the 100 last season, returning with 11 wickets at 18.54. Data analysis has also redefined how players are evaluated across the world. There are specialists for each category: lower order hitter against right-arm pace bowlers, most explosive in power play against left-arm space, wrist spinners most effective in the middle overs against top-order batsmen, bowlers most likely to break partnerships, batsmen who can soak pressure of early wickets and rebuild an innings, masters of deception and Yorker specialists in the death overs, fast bowlers who have the lowest economy rate in the 19th over, the over that often decides the result of a 2020 game. It is only because of the extensive algorithm and models run by team analysts that coaches can not only assess the strengths and weaknesses of their own players but also of the opposition. Deepak Huda's destructive batting prowess may be currently in the headlines, but it was in the summer of 2014 that Rajasthan Royals spotted him in an under-19 camp at the NCA in Bengaluru and drafted them in the unit. They tested him by replicating match scenarios in pre-tournament camps, something which their coach Monty Desai labelled as alternative pressures. A year later, Huda responded by hammering 54 of 25 deliveries, helping the Royals gun down an improbable 95 in 45 deliveries against the Daredevils in Delhi. KKR's analyst A.R. Srikanth, who also piles his trade for the Trinbago Knight Riders in the CPL and has worked in other leagues such as the PSL and the BPL, does not only rely on hard numbers but also on scouting, common sense and his own rational judgment. He called in Prasidh Krishna as a replacement for an injured Kamlesh Nagarkoti in 2018 and backed the tall right-arm fast bowler despite his indifferent start against the Mumbai Indians. Srikanth saw the potential of the young speedster and his ability to bowl the heavy ball and generate extra bounce from a good length area, qualities that have now come to the fore on the international arena post Krishna's Player of the Series performance against the West Indies earlier this month. Kuldeep Yadav was another big talent first spotted by Srikanth at the Buchi Babu tournament in Chennai in 2014. Kuldeep went on to form a formidable partnership with Vijayendra Chahal, and the pair of Kulcha played a pivotal role in India's dominance in limited overs cricket between 2017 and 2019. Srikanth was the brain behind the masterstroke of asking Sunil Narine to open the innings for KKR in 2017 after analysing his hitting prowess in wind ball cricket and in the PSL. Narine, the opener, hammered 697 runs for the franchise in the 3 editions between 2017 and 19 at a stunning strike rate of 184. England's dramatic ODI transformation after a shock exit from the 2015 World Cup was led by the data analyst and one of the most astute cricketing minds in the world, Nathan Lemon, resulting in an all-out aggressive batting approach which took them to a sensational win at home 4 years later at the World event. It was the same number cruncher who was spotted sending code messages from the dugout to KKR and England skipper Ian Morgan during the 2021 IPL in the UAE, suggesting that their transformation in the second half, which saw KKR make the final, and the stunning rise of Venkatesh Iyer was not just mere random event. Team analysis is just one area where the data industry has grown exponentially over the years. Broadcast analytics and specialized stats systems have redefined the parameters used to judge a player and team's performance. The conventional strike rate, average economy rate and aggregate are outdated, and more nuanced methods are now used for evaluation. Impact Index, created by Jaideep Verma, was one such holistic system which judged a player on the basis of his performance relative to the performance of other players in the match. In a sport where traditionalists are obsessed with hundreds and the highest and the maximum, it took into account the context of the performances, taking into consideration factors like pressure, situation of the match, average run rate, quality to wicket partnership breaking ability, etc. Basically, an under pressure 45 of 22 balls in a tense chase of a World Cup semi-final holds more value than a runner ball 100 on a plastic track at Dhaka in a bilateral series against Bangladesh. And for the very first time, the difference in the impact can be measured and quantified. From using data for just trivia and records, as is still done by most so-called cricketing journalists, numbers are now used as a tool to tell stories and make reasonably accurate predictions. Impact Index had a stunning match prediction percentage of 80% for 3 major ODI World events: the 2011 World Cup, the 2013 Champions Trophy and the 2015 World Cup, and 60% for 8 T20 tournaments, which was the IPL between 11 and 14, the Champions League between 13 and 14, and T20 World Cup 2012 and T20 World Cup 2014. Moreover, the system got 3 out of the 4 semi-finalists right in 8 out of these 11 events. That is a forecast success percentage of 73%. Any good student of maths and probability will tell you that a system which has an accuracy probability of above 60 to 65%, especially in a sport as complicated and nuanced as cricket, is creditable and meritorious. Advanced use of metrics is now helping analysts to rewrite cricketing history, creating a stir in the cricketing fraternity, making the world and notions of quite a few romantics outdated and obsolete. But none of them will tell you that till the end of 2016, it was the Englishman Peter May, who played in the 1950s, who was the second highest impact batsman in Test cricket history. Yes, only after the dawn. Or the exact reasons why Rahul Dravid was a higher impact Test batsman than Sachin Tendulkar. It is laughable that the value of data and analysis is still lost out on some traditional journalists who cannot seem to grasp that cricket is a sport and not ballet. It is all about scoring runs and taking wickets and the parameters that define the nuances around these metrics. The same set of people cite exceptions to negate the efficacy of data and numbers. How did India beat West Indies in the 1983 World Cup? Didn't Greece win the Euro in 2004? Did anyone predict that an unseeded teenager, Boris Becker, will win the Wimbledon in 85? Exceptions never define the norm, and in every sport upsets do happen, and that is what makes the game beautiful and fascinating. And the fact remains that pre-tournament favourites have won the World Cup 8 out of 12 times, including the last 6 editions. Greece has only qualified for the Football World Cup knockout once in their history, and only 2 unseeded men singles players have ever won the Wimbledon Championship. Data is no longer a support act. It is the primary driver, mover and shaker of the sport. Thank you.